My top tip for keeping a cage clean easily is to have multiple layers. Looking for some tips on how to clean your guinea pig's cage faster, better, and more efficiently? I'm going to do a thorough, deep clean of my guinea pig's cage and give you tons of tips on how to do it faster, how to do it easier, how to do it more effectively, and how to not need to do it as frequently. I'm a lazy girl here. I want my guinea pigs to be happy and healthy and clean and to do the least work I have to maintain that.
I love you.
Since this is a fairly long video, I'm gonna put the different chapters down below of the different things that we talk about. Whether it's like stripping down the cage, how I do the laundry, how I spot clean day to day, other miscellaneous tips, stuff like that. So feel free to go to whatever part of the video interests you the most.
Let's clean this mess.
So to start out with, when cleaning the cage, I like to use a dustpan to clean up all of the loose stuff. I'm not gonna be like crazy worried about it because I will shake it out afterwards. If I can get some of it into a trash bag, that's ideal. And by trash bag, I mean compost bag. You might be wondering if you could use a vacuum to clean their cage. I've kind of found that my cage is too big, that just sweeping works way better, but you know, everyone's different. You might have different needs. Maybe it'll work for you. So let's see what it can do. So I'd say my overall findings are that it works pretty well to pick up poop and food pellets. It doesn't work great to pick up fur or hay pieces. So keep that in mind. I mean, the dustpan's not perfect either to pick up fur, especially. Fur is kind of hard to pick up, but it does pick up more than the vacuum from what I can tell. Obviously there's different levels of vacuums, but I'm not about to buy a $400 vacuum just for the guinea pig cage. I do have like a big vacuum. It's just a pain to move it over into here. Maybe if you have a CNC cage and you bring the vacuum over to the edge and you use like the pipe attachment, maybe that'll work well for you. Something that's really important to keep in mind if you are considering a vacuum is that your guinea pigs will most likely be scared of it, and you'll probably want to put them somewhere else while you're cleaning their cage, so that does also make it a little less convenient. They're prey animals. They're gonna be startled by very loud noises. It's just in their nature. So let's sweep, kind of sweeping, I don't know, let's get it in this thing. In order to do that, I usually split it up into half, so I will put all the stuff over here and split the cage up in half nicely, and then I can sweep that half, and then I'll sweep this half. I don't know where my guinea pigs went. Oh, okay, there's one. Oh, there's the other one hiding behind the Heidi. So I'm just gonna toss everything to one side of the cage. I do this with my guinea pigs in the cage because, especially for my babies, they're still kind of getting used to me. They're young, they're skittish. I just want them to learn this is a normal thing. It's not a big deal. And it's a big enough cage that they can hide from me if they're really scared. They're not like feeling trapped or anything. They're totally fine with me as long as I'm not like trying to pet them. If I am trying to pet them, I better have bribes. So I got all the stuff on this side. And now what I'm gonna do is pick up the blanket and kind of shake it all into one spot if I can to make it a little easier. Oh, I missed a ball. Ah, go, get out of here. All right, and now all the poop is here and I'm just gonna scoop that up. So now that we have this half mostly not full of poop, empty of poop, I'm going to fold this over and see if there's any poop or anything under here, mostly around the edges. Some poop will get, and I'm gonna sweep that up next. So I'm just gonna kind of roll this up. Beautiful. As you can see, I put a towel layer under my fleece and get the little poop on the edges. Ah, now I'm flying poop everywhere. Since I'm doing a total cage reset this time, I brought a little box that I'm gonna just toss all the laundry in, because usually I just like throw it out of the cage, but this time I'm gonna be clean. I want to set a good example for you guys. So now I'm gonna pick up this other towel that's in this half. This gray one, I actually have two of the same here, so I'm gonna take this half up first since I already have all this stuff over here. So undo these clips that are holding it up. I hold the blankets up because otherwise my guinea pigs will pull them down. So I like if they're a couple inches up because it keeps in the poop. And I only just started recently doing this and it's working great. But basically what would happen before is the poop would just go out right outside the cage. And this is a big cage. It's like not easy to lift. So it was really hard to clean up the poop that's outside the cage. I would have to be inside the cage, cleaning everything, and then I'd have to get outside the cage and go sweep it from the outside. It was a pain. I couldn't just sit in here and clean like I'm doing now. Technique that I have now of using those clips and kind of clipping it up a little bit, working fantastic. It's kind of like how if you have Choroplast, you might get like the 4-inch sides, same exact idea. I'm just doing it with this picnic blanket, I think is what it technically is, but it's like a fleece with a waterproof layer on top. So that's working great. I love to use these on the bottom. So I'm gonna get all the poop up and kind of shake it into the middle of here. I'm gonna sweep that up. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna sneeze. Sometimes I do this with a mask because I am allergic to their hay, and it's usually okay because they're not in the room I sleep in, and I do have an air freshener. It's only if I'm like messing the hay and moving stuff around. So cleaning, and if I give them a fresh hay box, if I open a fresh hay box, something like that. Didn't think you guys would really be able to hear me talk all that well, so I'm bearing through my allergies for you guys. So I got all the big stuff swept up in here, and I'm gonna fold this up and pop her in the laundry. Okay. One of the reasons I like to use these picnic blankets is because they have a waterproof layer on the bottom. But honestly, if you have them on your carpet, I would still recommend putting something under them. Whether it is plexiglass or brain work, like a tarp, something like that, to protect your carpet. So you will notice that the floor is kind of messy, and it really, in theory, shouldn't be. But that's because sometimes poop flies under there and gets stuck. Or if I'm cleaning a part of their cage and they just decide to run around and poop everywhere, you know, things like that happen. So I don't usually clean the floor, but I'm doing a full reset today, so I am. But I only clean the floor like every few months. I mean, if there's like something obvious, I'll like wipe it up, but I'm actually gonna kind of scrub the floor a little bit today for you guys. Well, for them, but with you guys being able to see.
Get in there, poop.
Okay. I have some pet disinfectant that I use. It's for like vet clinics and daycares and things use it. I'm gonna use this in addition to this little scrubby that I have. It was on a handle and it broke. Broke when I was cleaning for the hurricane, so let's blame Adalia for that. Spray it on particularly stubborn spots, and then I'm gonna do a little scrubbing, and then I will wipe it up. Really just trying to get like the poop gunk off, you know. I'm not like literally trying to disinfect it. And this floor is gonna look dirtier than normal floors because this is actually our garage. It's not like tile or anything. It's literal like paint on the floor. So it does not clean up as well as a normal hard floor would if it was like laminate or something. So that's why it looks pretty dirty. The way that I'm cleaning this, if this was a normal person floor, would look clean now. But that's why it doesn't. So stop judging. I hear you judging. So now that we have this half clean, I'm going to put down this half of the cage. So you'll see, because it's a pretty big cage, I just do half and half. I am using something that's specifically sold as like a puppy pee pad to go in like the pot of a puppy playpen. But it's the same basically as a picnic blanket like I showed you before. It's just a little softer and it's bigger. So before I was using a picnic blanket, which you saw that has the waterproof layer on the bottom and then the fleece on top. I don't think this has anything in the middle, but I have also gotten picnic blankets that have kind of a middle layer, which I think it's like supposed to be for comfort, but you know, it's nice. It helps absorb up a little, but I'm gonna put towels and stuff on this anyway. I just use this as the bottom layer. So let's put that down. A lot of people will use Choroplast on the bottom because they know that wherever they put their cage, the guinea pig's pee is gonna get on the Choroplast and protect whatever's under it. Choroplast is a material made out of PVC. You commonly will see this material used for like yard signs. So if you're having like a yard sale or you're advertising something, you know, there's that thick kind of poster board, but it's not poster board. It's not paper. It's like this corrugated plastic, meaning if you look in through the sides, it kind of looks like how cardboard has those little holes in it. It's that, but made out of plastic. The nice thing about that is it's fairly cheap and it stands up pretty well to the test of time. and it's waterproof. You can also get it with sides, so like a 4 to 6 inch side, and that does a little extra double duty to keep in the poop and hay, because it will fly everywhere and it will get everywhere and it will consume your whole entire life. Choroplast, however, is not necessary. You don't need it, especially if you're just going to put the cage on the floor. You just have like the 10 grids around and it kind of just looks like a playpen. You can just put down a tarp, a picnic blanket, whatever, and then their fleece, and that's totally fine. You don't need the Choroplast. It's just a really nice addition just to help keep everything nice and clean and tidy. So like you saw before, I'm going to use these clips and clip it like an inch up. I clip it so there's like an inch or two up so that it just kind of has a little wall like that. And see the poop back there? That's from what I was talking about earlier when I said that before I did this, the poop would just get on the other side and then it made it hard to clean it because I have to go over there. It's also just because of the where I have it, it's hard for me to get over there. So that's why there's still some poop there. Hey, what's going on over there? Thank you. So I've got the bottom layer down and now I'm gonna put the rest of the layers in. So technically you need like 3 layers, or essentially 3 layers, and that is waterproof at the bottom, and then an absorbent layer in the middle like a towel, and then on the top you want a fleece, so something that the urine can be wicked through. So if you just have the towel, that's great, it'll absorb the pee, but then they'll literally be standing with their foot on the pee. That is not good for them. They can get bumblefoot. So if you have fleece on top of that, the nice thing about fleece is once you wick the fleece, the pee will go right through it, and then it gets absorbed in the towels and nobody's standing on pee. All right, so I do that, but I usually do like 2 or 3 layers. So my top tip for keeping a cage clean easily is to have multiple layers. So you want the waterproof layer, and then the absorbent layer, and then the fleece layer, but do that 2 times or 3 times. And then after a week, when you need to do a deeper cleaning, you just take a layer off. Bam, clean cage, and you didn't have to do a ton of cleaning. So that's my biggest tip to being a little bit lazy / smart and doing less work, keeping your guinea pig just as clean and healthy. So I'm gonna put down a towel first. So here's my absorbent layer on top of the waterproof layer. Now that I have this absorbent layer down, I'm gonna put down a layer of fleece. I just got this fleece from Walmart, by the way. You can get one of these fleeces, which for most people, one fleece would be plenty big enough for you usually. Like $3 or $4 for one of these, like normal prices. On sale, you can maybe get them cheaper. I like to just go to the fleece section in Walmart and see if anything's marked down. And every now and again, I'll get one for like $1 or $1.50. And if I see that, I just pick it up because I don't really care what the pattern is. You can even use it underneath and never see it. So now that I have this fleece layer, in theory I'm done, but I'm not, because I want to save myself effort in the future. So I'm going to put another towel on it. Yes, it has marks. Don't worry about it. The marks don't matter. Okay, this is sanitized. This has gone through the washing machine. This has gone through deodorizing detergent and a normal detergent. And like, it's clean, okay? It just looks a little funky, all right? It happens. It's all right. Don't worry about it, okay? Not an indication of anything. Great reason to use black towels, but I got these towels free, so don't care. And then I'm gonna put down another fleece. At the very end, I'm gonna put like little potty pads on this, is what I call them. I call them potty pads. But basically what I mean by this is I'm gonna put Heidi's and stuff down. And the areas that I think they'll want to be the most, I'll put little mini fleece liners basically. And I'll talk about what exactly those are later. But for now, we are done with this side. And now we can work on the other side. So we're gonna do it all over again. This is why I have coffee. I'm just gonna fold all this over. And then we're gonna work on the other side. All right, I'm gonna put a bag up to pour the poop in. Now what I'm gonna do is move everything over to the other side of the cage. This is their hay and food side. Much dirtier than the other side. Just a box of toys. This is not something they normally have. Hold on, texting break.
One eternity later.
Just gonna give these a little shaky shake. I kind of cycle through the toys. When they're bored of a toy, put it away, bring it back out in a month, and suddenly it's a new toy that they love. This like little paper things, I have plenty of that. I'm gonna throw this away. It smells like pee, not good. You may have been wondering like, well, why didn't you just shake every single piece out and then just clean the bottom? And the reason that, for example, I shook this one out onto this, but I'm not going to shake it onto the bottom layer. This is so irrelevant, but I'm going to tell you because maybe you haven't thought about it. The hay is the hardest to get out, right? The little tiny crumbs of hay, they get stuck in everything. And even after it goes through the washer and dryer, they're still stuck in there. So I don't shake something with hay onto something without hay. I try to keep the hay in one spot. Yeah, so I'm gonna scoop this up. Hey, Lemon Drop, what are you doing? You have fresh hay over there. Silly goose. If there's like hay or pellets or stuff that I think is gonna just make a mess, I don't want to spread the mess. So maybe this is a couple extra steps, but it probably gives me fewer steps when I need to clean the washing machine, you know? I don't need to be perfect because I'm putting this in the laundry pile and I can always shake it out again. Just want to get most of it out, most of the big pieces. But I am not going to painstakingly sit here and try to brush every single piece of hay out. That is absolutely not going to happen. I'd rather walk my little booty outside and just shake it out. No, I'm going to wash this for sure. Look at it. This has been here since last Halloween, but I'm sure not taking it out now. What's happening? Okay, Java's just making like a ridiculous amount of noise. Chewing hay. It's like, that sounds like a very strange noise. I don't know why, how or why that was happening. He just knows I'm filming and he's like, I'm gonna make as much noise possible because you are filming. You know, you didn't need to see me doing the same thing I did last time, and now again I'm on scrubbing step. Let's skip ahead. I'm not exactly entirely sure if it fits all the way. Corners do get the worst. They like to be in corners, but it's okay. My last one that I have not used, because I have 3 of these, which works perfectly for the girls. I'm gonna clip this fleece up so again, no poops fly out. There we go. Beautiful. So if you guys were paying attention, you know what we put down now. Okay? So let's both say it together in 3, 2, 1. You didn't say anything. So we're gonna put a towel down. Do I have any more towels? It's a really good, oh, I have one. Yes, I do. Okay, so let's put this towel down. So I really find that the reusable puppy pads work way better than the disposable ones. They just, they absorb way more. So might as well get them and then you just throw them in the washing machine and you're good. Okay, so now that we have all this absorbent stuff down, we pull out the next layer of fleece. That was on the very top of the other side, and it will be on the top of both sides now. And yeah, it doesn't go all the way. That's fine. We'll just put other stuff here. That's totally fine. I've got another little potty pad that I'm gonna put in the corner. This is a nice thick soft one. And then I've got some more potty pads that I'm gonna put by the food. Because again, like I said, the food gets super dirty anyway. Guys, why'd you pee on it? I had it on the boys' side, and apparently they felt the need to tell the girls that they were here and saw their stuff first before they did. Put that down, and there we go. So now the whole thing's covered. So now that you have this big box of dirty stuff, what do you do with it? Well, it's pretty simple. You just wash it in the washer, like your clothes. But I do get a lot of questions about that, so I'm going to go over it a little bit. First thing I like to do is I have a hard floor, so I just shake it out on the floor, and then I sweep it up. But you could totally shake it out outside if you prefer. But when you shake it out, less of it ends up in the washing machine that you have to like clean out, vacuum out, whatever, or it gets stuck and you need to clean the filter, stuff like that. So I like to just shake it out onto the hard floor and then I just sweep it up. Now when it comes to washing it, I'm just gonna toss it in there. It's full of laundry now, so what do I use? So a lot of times I use this all free and clear. It's really important that you get a detergent that does not have fragrances in it. If it says it's for like sensitive skin or something, that's usually pretty good. If it says fragrance free, those are all good signs. And if you smell it, it shouldn't smell like lavender or something like that. Which also, I use this for myself too because I have a lot of allergies, so it works out perfectly. I'm currently using the generic version of that, basically the store brand Walmart version, because I got this on clearance, super cheap. But a lot of times you can use a coupon to get name brand super cheap too. So I just get whichever of this same idea is the cheapest at the time. All right, so how much do I pour in? I don't know, go ask the laundry lady on TikTok. I'm not really sure. Well, I measure with my heart, you know? That's a lie. I measure until the max fill line. Just be aware of the difference between high efficiency and not high efficiency. If your machine says it's high efficiency, make sure you use the high efficiency fill line, whether you're using the line in the thingy or on your cap. There is something else that I add to kind of keep the odor down. And that is Audubon. You only need to use a very small amount. It is super concentrated. So I actually just put it in the bleach section right here of my machine. And I just pour a little bit in, like literally like a tablespoon. There is one more option of things that you can use, and that is if your guinea pigs or you or someone in the household is sick. You may want to consider using some kind of disinfectant. So if someone is sick, then I use this disinfectant. It's actually the same stuff that I used to spray the cage with earlier, just because I have a ton. I just use it for a lot of general cleaning. But this is a disinfectant for specifically a lot of animal places use. So like vet clinics, doggy daycares, things like that use this. Works great. So if there's a sick guinea pig, then I'll splash a little bit of this in my laundry instead of the Audubon. I'll put it in the bleach spot. However, you do not need to be disinfecting your laundry every single time you do it. That is totally overkill. It's really not good to overuse disinfectant if you don't have to. So highly recommend just use it if someone seems sick, guinea pig's having diarrhea, something like that. It's important to not overfill your laundry machine in general, but especially with stuff like this. This is so dirty, and I'm already gonna put it on like heavy. But there's so much stuff in here dirt-wise. If you overfill your laundry machine, it's gonna have an especially hard time. If you just have clothes that you wore once and you overfill your laundry machine, it's not a huge deal. But this is soaked in pee and poop. Now for the settings. So when it comes to guinea pig laundry, I usually do bulky items unless I'm only washing a few, because that tells your washing machine that there's like some thick stuff in there, towels, stuff like that. So it'll be able to better deal with like uneven loads and things, because when it's spinning, sometimes it can kind of get off the track, I guess is what's happening. I'm not sure exactly, but it'll stop and tell you there's an error. And that's usually because the load is uneven, it's too heavy, it's too bulky, whatever. So bulky items will help with that. Heavy duty is also a good option if you don't have super heavy stuff in there. So I'm actually going to wash the liners separately because I have a lot of laundry anyway. So these are actually just mostly towels and fleece. So for this load, I actually think that I'm just gonna do heavy duty, and then I'll probably do bulky items for the actual liners, because since they have that waterproof layer, they're a lot heavier and thicker, and they don't move around as well as the stuff that's in here right now. So bulky items and heavy duty, both great options for your guinea pig lawn. We talked about disinfecting before. A great way to ensure that your stuff is fully clean without using a disinfectant is to use hot water. All right, when it comes to human laundry, I wash almost all of my clothes on cold, but I always wash my towels and I always wash the guinea pig laundry on hot, because that is what will actually kill stuff and also clean it the best. In addition, I am going to use extra heavy because, for obvious reasons, this is very dirty laundry. And for spin speed, I'm gonna use high. However, again, if you have super bulky stuff, you have like really thick liners, you may want to consider using low. However, I caution you, never use no spin with your guinea pig laundry. You might think that if you use no spin, it'll save you time when you're in a bind, because then you can just put it right in the dryer. I guarantee you that is not true. I tried it one time. It was like 4 a.m. I was like, I just want to go to bed. I put it on no spin. Everything was sopping wet. The dryer takes so much longer to dry. Spinning gets most of the water out of your laundry. And the last setting that I'll turn on is extra rinse. One thing that'll do if it's pretty soiled is I will tell it to turn on, and then it will have it pause when there's a bunch of water in there so it can kind of soak with the detergent for a bit. Some washers will have a setting like that already that, I don't know what it's called. I'm not sure. I'll put it on the screen because I've seen washers that have had settings where they'll automatically soak. When this is done, as far as the dryer, I highly recommend using low heat. If you use no heat, it'll probably take forever. But if you use high heat and there is any dirtiness left, you're gonna cake that in. Like, you're gonna basically set in any pee stains that are in there. But if you use low heat, that's a lot less likely to happen. And then if you do decide to wash them again, or the next time you wash them, they'll clean better than if you had basically heat set in those pee stains. And let's turn her on. So now that you know the basics of how I do a full cage clean, I want to show you a couple little tips that I have that I may not have mentioned during the clean. Just little things that I've found help me keep the cage cleaner, easier. Fleece liners, there are a lot of different kinds. I will put little ones like this under their water. I will put it in their hideys. And basically that is because those are the places they are peeing the most often. So the two places your guinea pigs will pee and poop the most often are in their hideys, wherever they relax. So it could also be like a corner of the cage, just wherever you see them laying down, they're gonna pee and poop there. And then anywhere that they are eating or drinking, they're gonna pee and poop there as well. In addition to, if you put this under a water bottle, it'll just catch any extra water the water bottle drips out. But the really nice thing about having these little ones is that if I have this in a hidey, and Kahlua loves this hidey, she's always in this hidey, right? So I have mini potty pads in here, right? She sleeps in here, this gets pee on it. What I can do, super easy, is like 2 days later when I'm like, this is soiled, I can just take this out and that's still clean. Same thing on the actual like fleece liner that I have on the bottom is like, I have a bed here, a fleece bed. If they're here a lot, I can take this off and the fleece on the bottom, still totally clean. So it lets you go longer in between full cage cleans. It lets you go longer in between replacing this fleece on the bottom of their cage. And I love that. It also just gives me more flexibility. I can just be like, oh, well, this hidey, they're peeing in all the time. I need to replace this every day. And I don't have to worry about it. I can just clean spots as needed. Now, there is a fancy kind that works really well that Guinea Dad makes. However, I'm a budget girly over here, and I'm not over here telling you to spend $50 on a fleece liner, okay? So my recommendation is to sew it if you have access to a sewing machine. Even if you can just borrow a friend's sewing machine for a week. I cannot stress enough how easy it is to make fleece liners. Clothes are hard to make because they have all these different things you have to do. You have to fold all these spots. A fleece liner is literally like you cut the 3 pieces, you sandwich them together, you sew them. Easy peasy. I don't care if you don't have sewing skills. You can watch a basic YouTube video for 10 minutes. You can make a fleece liner. Speaking of, I actually do have YouTube videos that you can watch. So here's 2 of them right here. I have a few on fleece liner and fleece liner related things. Even someone that's never sewed before can totally follow them. One thing that I have that helps tremendously is these litter boxes. Now, it's going to depend on your guinea pigs, and I generally find girls are better at pooping in one spot than boys are. But these litter boxes, I have 2 because they would poop right on the edge if I only had one, are really great. You pull out the little tray and you can put litter in here or hay or whatever, and the poops are in here, but then also the pee gets kind of absorbed. You can also put like towels in there. I've done that before too. The reason I don't is because I have it under their hay and the hay would just get stuck in the towels. But if I just had it in a spot where they like slept or something, I would probably use towels. So these are really fantastic. They're mostly empty now because I did a spot clean and cleaned them last night, and this is the morning. This seems to work really well. I put the hay in here, and yes, hay ends up other places, but a lot of it stays in here. My only issue I've been having is that Kahlua just kind of jumps in there, and I'm like, please don't. I'm like terrified she's gonna get stuck. She's gonna get hay poke in her eye. I'm like, please, just can you stop? So I try to elevate it like just enough that she doesn't want to jump in, but it's like low enough that they can grab the hay. But so here is the full completed cage. Here's their food area. I'll fill up their hay and water in a second. To get their hideys, there's a little baby. Kahlua's in that one. I knew that you guys would like that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It looks great. And because there's a few layers, it'll be nice and easy to clean for at least 2 weeks. Don't forget to subscribe down below and hit that like button if this video helped you at all. You're so cute. Hello. You're so chill. Just chilling.